Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dodo Biscuits. I am your Joseph Mendelia, and I'm here with my co-hosts David Rarichich and Daniel Hoffman. This is our pilot episode, our first episode, and depending on how well this goes, we may or may not have more.
That's so reassuring.
Yeah.
Yes, we plan on sucking tonight, so tune in.
Definitely tune in for another time of this nonsense.
Basic format, it'll be about 30 minutes, and we'll talk about 3 topics for about 10 minutes. Anything and everything's on the table. First topic is New York Comic Con, the 2021 New York Comic Con. It's returning to Manhattan's Jacob Javits Center, Thursday, October 7th to Sunday, October 10th. For individuals who can't make it in person or are still avoiding large crowds of people amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there will be a schedule of digital events running concurrently with the physical ones. So that's it in a nutshell. They were shut down last year because of the pandemic. They did have a 2019 Comic-Con, which I was actually at. And, we'll go into more details as we go, but let's start with either Dan or Dave on opinions or thoughts on having a convention during the pandemic.
Well, I guess I'm just going to jump in here. I was actually reading the whole plan, and I like the idea of there being a virtual event, not only because of the pandemic. I mean, I'm vaccinated, and the mask mandates don't bother me. What I hate, though, are crowds. And this is why I was never a big Comic-Con fan or even events in general, because I just don't like large groups of people. And the one time I went with you, Joe,
yeah,
I just remember it was wall-to-wall people, and I get very, my personal space gets very cramped. So having the virtual events, I think even not during the pandemic, should be an ongoing thing, considering there's a lot of panels I would like to see. I saw a couple, actually. There's one for... with Ivan and Jason Reitman for the new Ghostbusters movie. Seems kind of interesting. And it looks really good. And something else about TV shows that shaped how we watch TV or something.
Movies that made us?
Yes. No, it's not like that. It's kind of like, I wrote it down. Hang on. The shows that change the way we watch TV is called. And that looks interesting. But having to only pay $20 to have access to all that, assuming they're streamed, I'm not sure. I didn't look it up. Kind of a great idea. Just even going forward after post-pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when Dave and I went to Comic-Con, I don't know how many years ago, he literally went outside to smoke a cigarette. Back when he was smoking, he's since quit.
Don't smoke. Still vape a little bit.
And that was it. We lost each other for the rest of the day. And I think at that point, tapped out and you went home. We could not, because he'd be like, I'm here. It would take me 30 minutes to get there. He'd be gone. Then I wanted to see something. I'm like, I'm going here. And then he couldn't find me because if we're going, let's fast forward here to the numbers. Comic-Con in 2006 started out with 33,000 people in attendance. Then in 07, it was 49,000. 08 was 64,000. Then 77,000, 96,000. By 2011, we were up to 105,000 people.
That's just too many damn people.
And then fast forward to 2018, over 250,000 people attended. Their numbers were less. It was only 200,000. This is via Wikipedia, so the research might not be as accurate, but...
Well, they're selling less tickets this year. There's going to be less people, and Dan, are you going to Comic-Con, or is your plan?
Dan, I'm going. A professional cosplayer.
Yes, semi-professional cosplayer. But I'm this year. Honestly, I hate to say it, I'm not going to Comic-Con, and it's more or less because me and the fiance, we said to each other, we rather kind of spend our money on seeing the world, seeing the sights, and then when we settle down and have kids, that's when we'll be okay, we'll go to a convention or two here and there. But yeah, no, with the New York Comic Con, I was going there every year, just like religiously. But yeah, no, the lines and the people and the amount of people,
Exchange.
it
Uh,
just was so horrible. But I think the people that, like, when you were spouting off the numbers, the reason that it jumped in numbers, it was I think it was because of the introduction of the fact that they were bringing in The Walking Dead.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
right.
that was like when they hit The Walking Dead hit, and it was going to be like the biggest thing. They had a panel at, it was like, you every time that The Walking Dead was going to come out, the new season, they always had it at New York Comic Con. It'd be like it's like San Diego Comic Con with all the different DC movies. They made sure the DC movies always came out right around that San Diego Comic Con would be there, and they would have all the trailers. This.
Walking Dead was
And
2010, and that's when New York Comic Con hit 96,000.
yep, and that's
Um,
when exactly.
I
And then
remember,
they
I
did-
remember the days. Not that I'm a big follower of comics or anything, but I remember the days when it was like kind of a smaller event.
Yeah.
And it blew up, as you said, The Walking Dead, and then a lot of these Marvel movies coming out. And
Yep.
people, comic books became more of a mainstream thing.
it's certainly embedded in pop culture. So with the new Corona rules that keep coming up, guests will still be able to meet and greet, but they have to communicate with their favorite stars and characters through a plexiglass screen.
Ooh,
Yep.
sexy.
Reprop has said the show will be running at reduced capacity. So a show that usually has around 200,000 people, what's reduced? They haven't kind of confirmed the number size.
I saw Saturday was already sold out. I actually looked up the ticket ordering, and Saturday is sold out, but the other days are still open. So
Yeah.
I assume,
What is that?
Well,
100,000, 50,000?
no clue. I can try to look
Yeah.
something up right quick.
100,000 person
I-
event.
I,
Getting down.
because what was it? I know that they sold out everything immediately, but then when the COVID restrictions came in, that's when actually they kept calling it the I don't know, they kept saying it was a downfall, and
Yeah.
the downfall basically was that they had over like 300,000 or like in the hundred thousands, an amount of, like, it was an entire day just of returns, people just returning their tickets saying, I'm not going to go with I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and like all the different restrictions. So people were actually gonna like where it's mandatory that you had it, you were vaccinated. If you weren't vaccinated, you were mandatory to keep a mask on.
I actually have the rules listed right here.
Both,
Face coverings will be required at all times.
even if you are
Yep.
vaccinated.
Temperature
Even if you're
checks
vaccinated.
on entry. There will be increased sanitation and cleaning in the facility and enforced physical distancing. How do you enforce?
How do you pull that off?
And there
I
will
know,
be
but-
a firm no handshake, no high fives, no hugs policy. So William
Wow.
is supposed to be there that year. No
Can you
one's
grab that crotch? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I guess so, right? It's
How
covered.
you doing?
Yeah,
Turn your
exactly.
head and cough.
but what was it? I know
Shatner?
they left a lot of the guests actually canceled too. I know because of Dark Side of the Ring, they just actually announced that they were going to cancel Ric Flair's appearance.
So one article here, Reed Pomp doesn't foresee much pushback for enforcing COVID protocols because similar events called PAX West, they only received 10 requests for refunds and even saw a significant increase in sales. They're maintaining the claim the guidelines are for guest protection and become increasingly more a necessity as COVID cases increase.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, you gotta still make the money, but it was still in the pandemic, kinda. So it's kind of, you can't win.
I feel like
it's a
soft
it's a
open.
win-lose. Like
Yeah.
it's a win-lose, but then it's like a win in the like some eyes, like where it's like, oh, I'll still go to the convention,
Mhm.
but then you have like, I know there's a lot of it because I'm like, I've been part of the community, the cosplayer community.
Mhm.
It is like they basically, like, for a while they were bashing like the community was bashing what do you call it? Colossal Con East, which just happened this past Saturday. People were like, no, don't go to it. It's a horrible place. Like even before the pandemic, they were bashing because they were like, oh, the guy's sexist. He said this, blah, blah, blah. And it was all like hearsay things that were on Twitter. And it was like the usual cancel culture BS where it was like, he said this tweet like 9 years ago when he was in high school. It was like one of those stupid things where it was like, he was in this this kind of like blah 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 this, and then we're canceling him because he said this 9 years ago. Well, maybe he was in different headspace 9 years ago, but they were bashing this. They were calling it basically COVID soup.
Anyway, either way, so to me, this is not a big change. I know
Yeah.
to Dan, it's a bit of a adjustment. Joe, you go all the time, but to me, it's like, oh, $20 to go see some panels in my living room. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I don't.
That works.
My take on Comic-Con is
I'm not going to buy anything either anymore. I'm having enough crap. But go on.
is that you
Yeah.
spend a bunch of money to get in, and then people try to sell you stuff, which you can get cheaper online.
I
You
have
know,
enough
they-
stuff
they-
by now. And I don't want money. Yeah.
Secondly, I will say that last part is a little bit of a falsehood because I did get a rare Gundam perfect grade that nobody ever, I've never found this. And then last time I found it, it was like $300. I got it for $150. And I actually told the guy like before I bought it, I'm like, you do realize what you got here, right? And he goes, no, it's a Gundam, right? I know what I got. I'm like, no, do you realize how much this thing is worth? He goes, yes. I'm like, all right, I'm just asking you before I buy this for the price that you're asking me to pay for it.
But
Dang it.
I don't want to take it
Dang
home.
it.
how hard do you have to
Oh.
dig for something like that, though, Dan? Those are
What?
rare deals. You don't get those deals.
But the thing was, I felt bad because I knew it wasn't, it cost a lot more.
All right, let's move on.
Evergreen.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Top Gun, right? So the studio producing Top Gun announced that they are going to delay the movie through May of 2022.
What? That much of a delay?
Yeah, so
I was shocked too, Dan. I was looking at the notes and it's like, it was 2019 originally. So it's not even just pandemic.
2019 was that far back? Because I have
Yeah.
May 2020 for Top Gun 2.
Well,
Well,
they had
Yeah.
the trailer came only out like I think it was in June of 2020.
So I'm going off of Wikipedia here, so don't quote me on this, but
Mine's
apparently
from-
it was supposed to come out in 2019 originally when they were making it. And then they put it on hold because they had to work on some flight footage or something. I guess it wasn't up to snuff, whatever
Yeah.
happened. But then the pandemic happened in the interim, so then it got pushed again to, as you said, 2022.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a big stretch.
So via NPR, the sequel was slated for May 2020 release. Like it was completed. They were releasing trailers, promoting it hard. Then COVID hit. It was pushed to December 2020, then July 2021, then November 2021, and now it's delayed to May 27th, 2022.
I'm following the source here, by the way, for that factoid from 2019. So
May
You know,
7th was also the same date as Mission Impossible 7, which is now getting shoved back to September 30th, 2022.
I know what was it? Ghostbusters Afterlife is being pushed back to November 9th. I think it's November 19th or something like that. No, I know it's November.
that was
this
a
year.
minor pushback, I guess. That would, I mean,
Yeah, but at the same time, they keep saying it's like it's finished. So
So this is
I don't know why
in Hollywood is you either hold your big budget movie or what you're hoping will be a huge theatrical release with a lot of people, or you drop it and you kind of pull in a small box office and hope that you can pull in a revenue from either DVD sales or streaming or whatever they do.
Yeah.
This, I know I'm kind of be projecting my own opinions onto people, but Do you care? Like, are you actually thinking that this Top Gun movie is going to be good?
I
Or
um
at least not
I'm
disappointing?
actually a pretty big Top Gun fan. It's one of my top.
I know you're a Top Gun fan. I know a lot of people are, and that's why I say I'm projecting.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of sequels, especially when they're that long of a gap between movies, have been at best okay. Like the Coming to America sequel, which was like that was okay.
It was all right. It wasn't up. I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
But I feel like the Top Gun's gonna be like this too. Also, like it's gonna be okay. And we're going to keep thinking to ourselves, "Oh, I kind of wish Kelly McGinnis could have made an appearance." And
She had
there's what's his name, James Tolkien. He's not showing up either. Okay,
Kelly
that's
McGillis
sad.
said she didn't feel. I don't think they didn't offer anything, and
She wasn't approached. They didn't even ask her. Again, according to
I don't
saying,
think
like,
so.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm not in the. Her quotes, her words said she was too old and fat, which is not, I don't think, true. But that was her perception on why she wasn't asked to come back.
Now I'm looking at Kelly McGinnis.
Yeah. She's fine. She looks normal. She's great for her age, but
she's not Tom Cruise level of looks. Yeah, she looks like someone's. I mean, she looks fine for her age, but she looks.
She's not the Hollywood starlet.
She reminds us of the ravages of aging. You know,
it's like a normal human being.
She's a normal human being, unfortunately. In Hollywood, it does not cut the mustard.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom
You
Cruise
gotta be
is a beast, is an alien. He does not age as badly as us. Or Kelly McGinnis.
The original had a $15 million budget. It made $356 million. Gun Maverick budget is $152 million. And they're hoping to at least match the 356 million, which is 1980s money.
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen because the price gap is just way too.
And no one's going to movies anymore.
Yep.
I mean,
if
it makes back double its money, it's considered a hit. If it makes back even its money, it's underperformed.
I predict it's not gonna. It's gonna kind of fizzle. I'm sorry. Okay, 639. I feel like it's gonna fizzle. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know Shinola about Hollywood in terms of what they consider, but it just doesn't seem like it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a disappointment.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna it's gonna be good, but not everybody's gonna go there and be like, wow, this was okay. Okay.
What makes a good
Blockbusters
the original so good?
I mean, the 80s, you gotta understand. I mean, you guys are younger than me, but like when the movies were big in the 80s, they were big. I mean, everyone would go to see it. It was an event. Back to the Future was nuts. Same thing with Top Gun, Footloose, Ghostbusters,
Star Wars.
The Star Wars is timeless in terms of its bigness. That's not a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. But with the 80s, with these big blockbuster movies, it's not going to happen. It's not happening nowadays. Nowadays, we have streaming services. We have a million different options to watch movies. So going to the theater does not make sense anymore.
Like, what was it?
It's not as important.
Yeah, because what was it? I just watched. I recently just watched a movie. I think it might have been a Netflix original. I'm not 100% sure. Do not quote me. But it was this movie called Kate, and it was what do you call it? Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the one that played Ramona Flowers. In what do you call it? I met her. She's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, it was the movie. Like, I honestly, the trailers kept making it feel like to me that it was just gonna be like a rehash, like a woman's version of like Crank, or this or that. It was like always like, but then like as I watched it, I was like, all right, this is not anything like I expected, and like it just was like, oh wow, this actually was a good movie, like. And the fact that it wasn't a Crank rehash was like, all right. But then, like, it was one of those things we never saw that. It's never going to see that. Oh, God. It's never going to see the light of day at a movie theater. but it
Yeah.
was just like it was such a great film that I was like, this should have actually been in a theater because it actually, I think it would have done pretty well. It might have not done like millions and millions of dollars, but it definitely would have been like a good like, oh well, we made our money back. Plus we got like maybe 200,000 more. But then like, there's other movies like what was it, Black Widow, where that movie streamed on Disney Plus, and the revenue that would have went for people going and seeing it in theaters would have been like triple because actually I didn't see that movie yet because I was not paying the $30 that they were like, hey, pay 38. No.
That's
I learned my
Black
I
Widow
learned my
was
lesson.
disappointing, in my opinion.
No. Oh no, I don't like that.
haven't
Do
seen
you
it
really
yet.
know what Top Gun Maverick's about? They just show a bunch of visuals and stuff. But what was the original about? It was just about aerial combat. Like
Yeah.
have a bunch of cool aerial combat to like rock and roll.
I have a
Something like
confession to make. I actually don't remember seeing Top Gun ever.
You've never seen it?
No, it was a lot of 80s movies. I just watched War Games for the first time the other week.
Oh my God, Dave.
Oh,
And I
wow.
mean, I watched it on the old school VHS version. I didn't watch it on.
You can watch Top Gun on VHS because it was shot in Super 35, which means that the aspect ratio can be widescreen or full screen.
Yeah, but it's still going to
Actually,
be
I think
240, whatever.
one of those films that I think is better in full screen. And
Yeah.
it's really the perfect Hollywood movie. Everything about it's very Hollywood in terms of story, and none of it's really true to what the Navy's like.
Oh,
But
no.
it works.
It's a
just
popcorn
good.
flick, as they call it, I
Everything-
imagine, right? It's kind of like
By
those
the
things you
book.
go in there for the action and then. Okay, so I want to make a little correction here. I wrote down in my notes McGinnis instead of McGillis, and that's just the stupidest mistake I've ever made in my life. And I made plenty of mistakes.
McGill.
I'll have a McGinnis on tap.
Oh yes, McGinnis is always a fair thing. You go down the block, you get Tommy, you get Terry, and then you get McGinnis. He knows what he's talking about.
It's good for potatoes, yeah.
Oh yes.
Little
Oh,
Kelly
yes.
McGinnis.
You take that little fly and you're like, I'm gonna give you my McGinnis back.
Close enough. I think.
McGillis. I'm so sorry. McGillis.
McGillis.
Sorry, Kelly.
We'll try to wrap this up quick. I mean, this is a trend with Hollywood. North America, as via the New York Times.
Hollyweird.
Hollyweird. North American multiplexes have sold about 1.9 billion in ticket sales this year of 2021, compared with 7.7 billion for the same period in 2019. So you want to talk about hit in theaters?
I don't believe that.
Holding off on releasing these blockbusters is big money, not only for the movie theaters, but also for, not only for for the studios, but also for the movie theaters.
It's a big game of chess with these movie theaters, studios. It's
Yeah.
literally, I mean, I don't want to say overthink, but they definitely put a lot of thought into release dates.
Well, they're kind of the way it is now. It's more like the studio is the bank, and they're investing in a project and hoping to get a big return on the investment.
That's why I think the 2022 release date is more to meet the eye there. And I think, you said how they wanted to make this a blockbuster. They wanted to make, they wanted to be obviously all movies want to be a blockbuster, but I assume they want to maximize their return by distancing this as far away from that pandemic as possible.
Yeah.
And I think they're banking on this being over by 2022.
Yeah, that and also when it's coming out in what you said, June, May, June, right?
May I have here.
All right, so they're trying to make it more of a summer blockbuster rather than having it where it's a winter one.
And no one goes to the theaters in winter.
That was the
Not even
initial
going to
plan.
summer.
May 2020 release was the initial summer blockbuster.
But yeah, I think this is just a ploy, to get to maximize the return, get as many bucks in the, because right now, if you release a movie, even right now, there's still social distancing happening at these theaters, and it's tough to get a packed theater when they have to distance and you have to do this and that and the other thing.
I feel like
Uh,
distancing in a theater would be easy. You just every other row, or every other seat.
Yeah, but that's half the theater right there. You're losing half your audience.
I'm very rarely in a theater that's completely sold out. So
Well,
maybe,
back in the again, this is again looking back to trying to recreate the
yeah.
1980s movie going experience. Again, that's not happening anymore.
But I
Even
go to movies like on a Sunday morning when no one goes because I don't want it to be that crowded.
well, I mean, you go to the opening weekend release, and like last time I went to a really big screening, a big was Star Wars, the Episode 7, and that was the last one I went to because I just can't stand. Again, I can't really stand crowds. But again, they're trying to. It's one thing that's hard is that nowadays we have movie theater experience at home. I mean, you can see behind that there's a TV that looks great and it's cheap.
It looks better than the theater screens a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, the theater screen, of course, is big and sounds much better, but how much razzle dazzle do you really need? Not like compared to the old days where you had a choice of going to the theater to see something in a nice widescreen with loud speakers and booms, or watching on your Zenith 23-incher in the living room.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was it? I love and I hate to bash this movie, but I love to bash it. It's like with the Justice League movie. Like you notice you on the big screen, you kind of you didn't really notice the fake the mustache removal on Henry Cavill. But then when you look at it like on a small screen, that thing jumps out at you. That just screams, "Hey, look at me! Hey, you want to watch that movie?" Hey.
I think that's like the way the TVs are nowadays. I want to say it's like the soap opera effect because it's like the higher refresh rate.
Yes,
things more obvious and it stands out. That's I'm guessing about that. I'm not technical about that. So
well, there's a way to fix that. You should program your TV for a better
cinema mode.
It has to do with motion blur.
Yeah.
You're streaming at 60 frames per second versus the 24 or 30 frames for television, 24 for film.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any amount of motion blur would save that movie.
There's a whole term for that. I think like the soap opera effect is one of them, but that's one of the biggest things with the digital age. And that affects everything, video games too.
So the way cinema is being broadcasted these past 2 years, it gets a movie release, it gets a digital release, and Scarlett Johansson's filing a lawsuit with Disney about that. And people are like greedy people suing each other, but I don't necessarily think that's the case with this. I think it's more there isn't a definition on what a release for a film is and what constitutes a theatrical release simultaneously with streaming, and that lawsuit's more going to set a precedent than anything else.
Yeah,
I don't really.
It's kind of like
is that there's no rules. And
it's kind of like the old with the. I'm sorry to cut you off, Joe. It's like the whole direct-to-DVD Disney movies, like with Aladdin, the second one, Returning Jafar. It went right to VHS because they were like, we don't really think this is going to make a lot of money.
Was that I thought that was always planned for direct.
Well, I think that's why Robin Williams dropped out of it. Because they we're just going to put this straight to video, and they dropped. And Robin Williams, I think that's why he left. I'm not sure.
No.
His thing, we'll go into it.
It's a whole.
He agreed.
It's a bed of snakes.
If they didn't agree to advertise, he was the voice of the genie, because at the same time his toys was coming out, and they promoted him like crazy. So he had a little beef with it because he felt that it hurt toys. But anyway,
I think toys hurt toys.
I'll agree with that. I liked the movie Toys, but it was
gonna beat Aladdin. It's just not.
No, absolutely not. But no, it was its own film, and it was very unique because it felt like you were watching Huey Lewis in the News that the what do you call it? The Sledgehammer song.
Oh,
But
that was
like
Peter
on
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
always was okay. Then I'm bad at remembering. Like, well, movies I can remember. The other things not so much. But yeah, no, with Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, it was like it had way too many things that were just but it was like watching that, but in reverse.
Yeah, it was the weird time when they discovered computers could do a lot of stuff and they overused them.
Yep, because they were like, wait a minute, we can do this. Oh, we can do this. Holy
Peter
crap!
Gabriel
We
was
can
like, I'm never gonna do that
this.
again, and then big time he does it again.
Yeah. Oh, he immediately did it. It was hilarious. It was like, okay, you're doing this crap again.
I think our stance is that it's just a product of the times, right? Is that what we're agreed on here with this one?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, what do you mean? Like the
The way that the delays are, that it's just kind of
we're in unprecedented times. We can't say this is the new normal because the new normal has been tossed on its head.
Yeah,
would-
it's kind of been sitting
think-
stagnant.
when you drop that kind of money on a movie, you're gonna hope that you're gonna get a big return on that investment, and streaming online isn't the best way to do that.
But I will
Oh.
say, well, they charge like a premium price, as you said before, $30, Dan. But I will say that it is going to. I'm going to walk back what I said before because it is going to change a little bit of how we do business because sometimes people are starting to realize that the movie theaters experience isn't what it's cracked up to be. So what I'm starting to see now with regards to movie theaters is that the gimmicks have to start coming back. There's this place. There's a branch. What's it called? Alamo Draft House.
Yes, actually, they closed up.
They closed up. There was another one then that was like they had a screening of movies, but they also serve food. They have wait service.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, actually, it was the Alamo Draft House. They did a whole thing. Me and the fiance, we did a John Wick when John Wick 3 came out.
Mhm.
We did John Wick. They basically did a 3-part where it was you saw John Wick 1, you saw John Wick 2, and then at midnight, exactly on the dot, you
Mhm.
saw John Wick 3, and it was unbelievable and amazing because we basically were able to we were eating, we were drinking, we had dessert, appetizers during John Wick 1, dinner during John Wick 2, and then we had what do you call it, dessert during the last one.
This
Heading back
portion
to-
of the podcast is sponsored by Popeyes. First of all, sorry, Joe.
Sorry, I'm really sorry about that.
No, it is.
I tried not to get it as close to Bob.
We're fine. Heading back to Dave's point though, about the audience experience, I can only kind of describe it as this: when I saw Sin City in the theater with Elijah Wood's character, and that movie was told in like segmented stories out of chronological order. When Elijah Wood's character popped up again in another story, the audience reaction was this horrified gasp because he was so scary, and it was just like a cameo shot, and you don't get that from watching it at home. You don't get those audience laughs, those audience reactions that kind of help enhance a movie when it's good and they're into it.
I get that. There's sometimes it's fun to hear the audience reacting to certain things. It's like watching a sitcom and hearing the laugh track. A little
Except
bit of comfort.
it's more real, where the laugh track is they're just telling you when to laugh. But yeah.
But they're trying to recreate that now too, with like having watch parties. You still can't hear the people, but there's still reactions in real time. This Facebook was trying something like that. I haven't seen it really take off too much in my circle, but maybe it's still happening. MST3K is doing that a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many watch parties come up recently.
Yeah, I don't see them either.
I know what was it? A couple of people were doing like watch parties for certain like animes where it was like if it wasn't coming out it was coming out of theaters, they're like, oh hey, we're gonna do a watch party for, or like during like anniversaries. I know a good amount of the Ghostbuster community, they were doing watch parties for when the 30th anniversary was there.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
30th, 40th. I don't know.
We're well
No,
over
30th.
21.
Don't age me that quickly. I think it was 30. It would have been 35th, I imagine, right? Because it came out in 84.
Yeah. Yep. And
Yeah,
that
that's
was,
what I'm thinking.
yeah.
All right, we're well over time. Let's go on to our last topic.
Time. Okay, what was your last topic, Joe?
This was Dan's topic, actually.
Oh, is this the
Three
Gummy Bears?
that
Oh, Jesus
cause
Christ.
diarrhea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Well, these are just more or less like, it was, I'm going to say they are just like you just reading the comments of everything. It's like you watch like the literary stories,
All right.
and it's kind of funny and
Do you want
kind
me
of
to
terrible.
break
I
down on the
didn't pull them
science?
up. I'm very bad.
Do you want me to give you a breakdown on the science on this before we, and then you can go into the comments?
Is this
Lys-
about
Lysine.
Lycosine?
Yes.
Lycosine.
Lycosine. Lysine. It's
So
not a good, it's a
from
flavor enhancer.
Haribo Candy Company, and they replaced the sugar in their gummy bears with Lycosine.
Well, it technically was a
taken it off the
taste-making
market
agent.
because Lycosine's main ingredient is maltitol, and maltitol is
Yep.
what's known as sugar alcohol, and it's
And
a very
that's just
replacement for table sugar
mhm.
because it's almost as sweet, and it even dissolves in water like regular sugar. It's made in labs, something about oxygen and whatever, blah blah blah.
It's basically the equivalent of the new style of Alestro.
But sugar alcohol has actually been prescribed by doctors to help people poop.
Mhm.
They're
Let me
called
poop, doctor.
osmotic laxatives. And it found that 40 grams of Lycosine for an adult is enough to do it. So
So
how many gummy bears will give you the runs?
Oh, they'll kill you.
How much is in each bear? But
So-
the bears weigh 3 grams. It comes to 20 bears in the guts bubbling. Anecdotally, people say about 15 sugar-free bears did the trick.
Yeah. Oh no. The comments are in. So on both on Amazon, there's two different there's two different types that I found. The original, there was the Haribo, which they come in 5-pound bags. They have over 1,362 ratings, and every single one of them says the same comment. Whereas the Sweet Gourmet sugar-free gummy bears, they have only 587 global reviews, and every single like everything says the same thing except like maybe a few. Doesn't taste sugar-free, it's tempting fruit. That's like it's gummy bears, worth it, but you're addicted to, if you're addicted to gummy bears, like full number 2 bags. And it's like some of these people like didn't really, they just said exceptionally good. They just, but then like you get slowly down the line from there, you start seeing whatever you do not eat these unless you know exactly where the closest toilet is. Let's just say there's an abandoned pair of pants in an alleyway.
I actually pulled some of these up here. You should also be sure to also buy a tub of OxyClean with this to get the blood and diarrhea stains out of your underwear, clothes, furniture, pets, loved ones, ceiling fans.
Jesus.
I think sarcastic Amazon reviews is like the equivalent of Shakespeare in our modern times.
Oh, absolutely. But like there's the one that has the 1,362 like global ratings. The top ones are the amazing ones because these like people either they didn't do it or they just went into like they were just like, I'm gonna do a short story. Let's see if people actually will jump on the bandwagon for this short story. Like they have one story called Saint Diarrhea's Day Massacre, which is the preview for it is I purchased these gummy bears thinking sounds like a nice purchase, 5 pounds of delicious candy for a decent price. Can't go wrong. Unfortunately, I learned the hard way. It can go very wrong. First of all, I made the mistake of not reading reviews before my purchase. It cuts off there, but now I'm going to see more because now it is literally, it moved my whole page down. I am literally 2 pages in now. I'm like, oh, and it's like,
You're thankful some people have a lot of time because it's sometimes so entertaining.
Some short descriptions are intense cramping, bloating, noxious farts, and some of the worst imaginable diarrhea.
Here's another one.
An intestinal
Don't make plans.
power wash, a flood of toxic waste, a volcano, a gummy bear assault.
So what came out of me felt like someone tried to funnel Niagara Falls through a coffee
Oh
strip.
my,
I
oh my
swear
God.
shoulders were screaming. It felt like my delicate starfish was gaping more, projectile vomiting a torrential flood of toxic waste. 100% liquid, flammable liquid, napalm. God, it's you can't write. I can't write that well if I tried. This
I
is
know.
just poetry.
Oh my,
This-
oh my God. Oh my God. This is
This
3
isn't the
pages.
first time a diet, quote unquote, diet food has caused massive diarrhea for people.
Oh, you don't remember Wow Chips, do you?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right, going back.
Anal
Or
leak.
Not,
leakage.
not the first time. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
The Pringles chips, right? They would
Lestro.
the Lestro
Elestro.
was like
Wow.
foods or something.
Anal leakage. That was what it caused. It literally was you. The whole idea that was of anal leakage was that you were able. It would give you such a feeling, but then you'd feel like kind of uneasy in your stomach. But you never like. It was like it would never made you go, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom now." It was, oh, well, that doesn't feel good. But then you would like walk, and then you'd start feeling like you would feel something that you were like, huh, that doesn't feel like it should be a thing. And then when you go to the bathroom, you'd be like, oh no, what the hell did I do?
That ain't right. That's not feeling
that's-
right now.
Yeah. So then there would be doctors going, oh, but oh my God, this one's called "Don't Make Plans." It
Anyone
just says, dear. It just says, dear Christ, what did I just do?
anyone's having intestinal blockage, maybe check out those gummy bears, but
Well, they're gone now. They
no
they,
longer
they
sold
stopped
now.
selling them.
They stopped selling them. You cannot find them anywhere. I've actually looked.
Heard they
I've
taste
done deep dives too. I'm like, nothing. Even the black market don't have it.
I got paranoid here because I have gummies here for my hemp oil, and I'm reading the label right now to make sure it doesn't have any of the ingredients we're talking about. And I see here it's corn syrup sugar, so we're we're golden. Regular sugar, well, corn syrup, but
Like,
still.
there's another. I know there's another thing, but it's not a gummy. But yeah, it's like it is actually in that realm of doctors. This is that's the one thing. This is a doctor prescribed like the lysine or lycosine. It's doctor prescribed.
Mhm.
You need a medical degree in order to prescribe this. Why would anybody think that it was a great idea to put this in a gummy bear and then sell it to the masses? But at the same time, it makes me think.
Food companies assume that people read the nutritional labels, but
Oh no!
people rarely do.
I think they
it's
assume
like
they don't because they like to hide that stuff in small print.
If you adhere
Yeah.
to serving size, you don't have those problems. But
Ooh, you still have that problem.
Nobody
It even
the
says
serving size. They eat
there was
gummies
5.
handful.
Don't eat more than 5. The serving size for it says 9.
Yeah.
It says don't eat more than 5. I was like, oh.
When was the last
They-
time you ever eaten normal size, your typical size gummy bears and only ate 5 of those? Unless there was
Yeah,
just
no,
someone
that
handed you 5. But when you have a bag of gummy bears, you're eating like 10 or 20.
Yeah, you're going through the whole thing. I've destroyed boxes of what do you call it? The Starburst gummy bears.
I mean, jelly bears to me are like that same problem. I can't just have 5. And I imagine gummy bears.
All right. So everyone get the
Start one.
bears high in sugar. This will wrap up our pilot episode. We'll certainly make some refinements for episode 2. We'll have some special guest on as the weeks go on.
More whippings.
What's that?
More whippings.
More whippings.
More whippings. There we go.
Whip us more.
So next
One of
week
those for work.
we'll actually have Dan on video.
Yep, I'll be able to be at home and do this.
Not driving around getting dinner.
No, we have like the Adventures of Dan going on, and the sponsored by Popeyes. Chicken, it's
or whatever I mean,
intestines.
or whatever I'm eating that day.
All right, we'll figure out our topics. No, we'll start planning the topics a little more in advance.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any plugs they want to plug?
Do not subscribe or like because we don't really care if you like or subscribe.
I kind of care
Yeah.
if you do.
Sometimes I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like likes and subscribes,
When
I
I'm
know.
dreaming, I
I'm
like
not begging for that.
getting liked and subscribed.
but no
Well,
comments.
There seems to
Yeah,
be
no
a
comments.
on that. I'm telling you not to like and subscribe, and
Keep your comments to yourself.
these guys might want you to.
Oh, you have any projects or anything you got to plug up?
Um,
Like a bud after you ate some gummy bears.
we'll be at the 1 Minute Film Fest. One of my short films will be at the 1 Minute Film Fest in Square in November. So I'll be plugging that for the next one.
Oh, I'm gonna be plugging. I actually gonna plug my my comedy show on October 1st, the Brokerage.
There you go.
That I just realized that it's at 10. It's at 10:30, so it's a little late. It's at the Brokerage in Belmore, and it is two items. Originally it was 2 drinks. Now it's 2 items per table or per person.
Drink minimum.
2 drink minimum, but also the items. You can buy food and a soda. Boom, you're done.
And
Okay.
Dave.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Dave TV Games, Games is my handle, or on YouTube, same thing, TV Games, TEEVE. Otherwise, I have nothing else going on in my life, so that's my plug.
All right.
All right.
Thank you
I'll have
all.
a better plug next week.
See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I like to play with toys.